contractors on the bridge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm getting one of a coughing fit. Allergies are just killing me right now.
Morning. How are you?
Okay, meeting's in order, pledge allegiance.
I will make a motion to approve the
Oh,
consent
that's
agenda.
911.
Yeah.
The agenda, does anyone have any questions, concerns, changes? Meeting minutes from last week, April 29th.
Thank you.
Accounts payable, and the recorder's report.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Amber, we have no liquor licenses?
None.
Thank you. Any public comment? Anybody email, reach out, send letters? Get anything to say?
No.
All right.
Still early in the morning.
Okay. Board of Supervisor Committee meeting updates. I had nothing last week, so it was a short week.
I went to lunch at Silos in the Trainer with Doug from the Trainer area, who is joining Golden Hills. Had a good meeting with him. Lance Brisbois, who works for Golden Hills and is now a proud resident of Mills County, and Angie, who is the executive director. So that's all I have.
We had a emergency management commission meeting, last week. Some of the things on it, one of the things on it, Morgan, our specialist that we've hired, was her 6 months was up, so the board agreed to increase her salary to what it would be. And then, looking at trading pickups, let me tell you that trading pickups is a lot of fun. What you can get from the government on certain things. So that was interesting. I think, Travis is coming in later. We can ask him questions about that. That's all I've got.
Tim. Mr. Ferrari.
All right. Every now and then we get those spending days. And so looking for approval to purchase a new grader. This is from Ziegler Cat. Total price would be $408,959.25. This does not include our trade-in. They still have to get us that value. Our trade-in value should be anywhere between 60 and 80,000. We have 380,000 budgeted for this. So with that trade-in coming off the top of that 408, it will be under budget. This is going to be out of next fiscal year's budget. So it's not out of current budget. We'll pay for it when it comes in. We're looking at a 6 to 8, maybe 9 months lead time before this comes in.
And how many hours does the one that we're trading it have?
We traded them in at about 12,000 hours. I think that's kind of what we shoot for, and then it can kind of be plus or minus depending on. We just did a big repair, like one of them we did a transmission 3 overhauls, so we kind of kept that one to go a little bit longer and trade different ones. So it kind of depends.
Tim.
I'll make a motion to approve purchase of a new grader. It'll be later on in the year, right?
Yeah, this would be 6 to 9 months down the road, but so this is to get it on order.
25, 26 budget.
Yep.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the new grader purchase from Cat Ziegler for $408,959.25 to be out of next year's budget. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
You're getting a new electric car, huh?
Not electric. All right. Next on the agenda, seeking approval for purchase of a new engineer's vehicle. This will be a 2025 Chevy Traverse. We have, everything today is out of next year's budget, so it's getting them on order. This also would be out of fiscal year 26 budget. We budgeted 50,000 for a new engineer's vehicle, and they're offering $14,000 trade-in, bringing a total out of pocket $34,900. I looked up, it was under the JD Power, kind of like a Kelly Blue Book deal, and they said that it had like 3 different ranges for trade-in values on my current Explorer, and the highest was up 13,000. So their trade-in value is looking pretty good.
What year's your Explorer you're trading in?
2019.
2019.
It's over 80,000 miles, so that's kind of the thought process here is to still where we can get something good on the trade-in value before we leave that 100,000 miles in. And this would come in, first part of July.
How often do we trade out engineer vehicles?
How?
Just whenever it gets to that.
Yeah, it depends on the miles and if there's any problems with them.
I know when Corey got here, that was the first thing he did, and, I don't know how many was on one before.
Yeah.
I think it's typically been in the past before 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin had an Explorer, Corey got basically the same thing. Yeah,
Try to keep them under 100,000. And who's that to?
Netflix? Let's say, Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix,
Sioux City.
yeah.
Gotta pick it up versus bidding.
We typically don't get. We've dealt with them in the past. We've gotten good service through them, especially during COVID. They honored our government pricing that they first quoted us. A lot of people, if you guys remember back in COVID, everything went crazy. There's fuel surcharges.
Yeah, about
We had
one.
government pricing. A lot of dealerships that absolutely were not doing that. And also, if you don't want to pay this new higher price, you go out back of the line.
Someone else will buy it tomorrow.
And they actually honored us through that. They originally quoted us, so that's pretty. I'd make a motion to approve the purchase of the new county engineer's vehicle.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second to purchase a 2025 Traverse through Nepler Auto out of Sioux City for $34,900. After trade-in, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Come on, keep having to sign all these.
But you paid the big bucks.
Oh, yeah. You said you had to spell his name right. Okay, next thing on the agenda is approval of HMA rejuvenation spray on Lambert Avenue.
Yeah, so this is with G Asphalt Systems. This is something that would be, they have a Council Bluffs project in June, so they'll come down probably towards the end of June, do the work, but we won't pay for it until after July. So
Next
it'll be
year's
out of next fiscal year's budget. We have 80,000 budgeted. The total cost is $78,060.98. And this is on Lambert Ave. A total of 3.1 miles. It's a rejuvenation spray. Basically, it kind of puts some of the goodies back into the asphalt with different polymers, helps seal it up a little bit too. From not the larger cracks, but those micro cracks. We did crack fill this, I believe 2 years ago. So we kind of already have that, and then the rejuvenation spray. A lot of the studies show that this prolongs life another 5 to 7 years, potentially even more depending on the road. So
Big.
it's something that I think is worth it, and I would like to do at least one of these a year. We've done them past 2 years, I believe. And so the next one, we're probably gonna be looking at, the next big one would be probably 221st. We were gonna do that this year. He took a look at it. He said, yeah, we could probably push that off a little bit more. A lot of times what they're looking at is so you can see it in the color. It's the oxidation process, just the sun kind of dries it out, gets brittle, see more cracking. This kind of, it'll look like a new road, real nice and black, and we put pavement markings over the top.
I'll make a motion to approve $78,060.90 to G Asphalt Systems for 98 cents for HMA rejuvenation spray on Lambert Avenue out of fiscal year 25-26 budget.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to approve G Asphalt Systems for 78,060.98. 3.1 miles on Lambert Avenue rejuvenation spray. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I,
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, me signing this.
How about it, buddy?
Okay. Next, signing of the contract for the box culvert replacement. This is on 360th Street.
Here, 60th and what? South of Hastings, north of Hastings.
It's near Cary Ave. Here. Measures just.
Look at it quick. It's just,
Go south. Keep going.
right
Should be
there.
that one.
Good.
This one, if you're in the area and drive by it, look at it, it's, has failed about as much as it possibly can before it takes the road. Basically, the water is coming, it's supposed to be a slip and slide down. Basically, it comes in, it drops into an abyss at least 6 feet deep, and then it's just completely undermining and blowing up the concrete. We awarded the contract, when Kevin opened the bids here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so this is just the official signing. We got everything from them, their performance bond, certificate of insurance. We have a pre-construction meeting, tentatively scheduled for later this week after the signing.
And who is this to again?
Gus Construction.
Gus.
GUS?
Yes, GUSS.
And they've done work for the county before, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They have, I haven't worked with them yet. I know they have.
What's the dollar amount?
$376,838.
I'll make a motion to sign the contract with Gus Construction for $376,838 for 360th Street Box Culvert Project L 2025-1-65.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to sign the contract for the 360th Street Box Culvert Project to Gus Construction for $376,838.00. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye. Every time I sign
With
it.
a box culvert, most of the money coming from that, it's us. Where's it coming from? For project like this.
It's not specific to the box culvert, but specific to this project, this is gonna be all paid for local money, but we did receive a $180,000 reimbursement grant from Hungry Canyons. So we have $600,000 budgeted, so we have to warn that for it. Now, this is one, it's in the current fiscal year, but I think we'll get the majority of it done. We should be starting by June, so we'll have a full month working on it. Kind of see how things shake out, if we need to budget amendment later to spend the money we didn't spend, just to show the expense we did. Cross that bridge.
remember Jordan Hills used to put a lot of money into these, years ago.
Mhm.
I don't know whether they don't have the funding now or,
It's like they're looking at chopping some funding.
regrouping or.
There you go. For the feds.
Excuse me?
State or feds chopping on the ground?
State.
Speaking of chopping, cutting funds, unfortunately, we received news that the grant, we were gonna go after that brick grant for the Greenwood structures, but that apparently went away. So, when we had met with JEO, kind of got things together, we're gonna read through it and get an application together. And they emailed us and said that program is going away. So we'll keep an eye out for other funding streams for those Greenwood structures. Wanted to give you guys a recap on FM Rock this year. We finished up last week. This was the first year that the county was involved with hauling the rock, because we didn't pay for it out of our farm to market system account. We paid for it locally. By doing that, it lets us use our own people to help haul. So we had trucks running. In total, we saved $33,956.76 by hauling it ourselves. The numbers came out really well. Our yield was 100.1%, so we hit our tonnage right on and laid down 32 miles. Block. So
32 miles of rock?
32 miles in about 4 days. So we have budgeted for next budget to do the same thing. So we'll expect to see that cost savings. So what it does is it looks more expensive on our local budget, but overall we're saving that money, and then it builds our FM account so we can use it for the larger construction projects. So again, we get about $1 million in our FM account. As you guys know, the past months they've been 2.5 million up to 3 million. So if you go like that, really, you're talking one project every 3 years, and we're trying to do it every year. So trying to get creative with it.
Good. Good.
And then we do have our grader and mechanic positions still open.
We see that.
Opened our grader position. This is the third time opening it. We're just not getting the qualified applicants we're looking for. So hopefully people keep applying and finally we'll get someone. I think it's more important to hold off and get someone that we're confident that at least has the attitude to learn, and, you know, ideally with someone with a decent amount of experience too. Especially looking at $408,000 machine, we want someone in there that has a good feel for what they're doing. So, still got that open. I had one mechanic application come in over the weekend, so we'll take a look at that and see. I think we've got a total of 4 applicants. We had offered it to one individual, and then he actually did not accept it after he ran the numbers. He said financially it wasn't going to work for him. So all we can do is offer and keep our head up and keep searching.
Yep.
I heard we had a few speed bumps a little mud over east.
Do speed bumps?
Yeah, we pulled the grass up, looked alongside the road, and it rained about an inch.
Yeah, there was, we had a few phone calls. Yeah, and what we're doing is,
I won't mention what I called some of your people. I said, now boys, I said, fella, this has to be done. I know, but why can't they do it in the fall? Cause then I said, you're all hauling grain and nobody can get off the side of the road.
and those roads that we're doing it, we're receiving FM rock, so.
Right.
That's why we had to do it, even though there was potential rain forecasted. We had to bring up those shoulders, reshape it, get ready for the new rock, and just the unfortunate timing of the rain kind of turned it a little sloppy.
Well, I don't think anybody minded the rain, it was just that they didn't want to drive in the mud, you know, but. I said, you're lucky there's rock there.
Yeah, either way, it's taken care of now.
Yep.
So it's not an ongoing issue.
I don't have anything for you, Jake.
And either.
All right, if you guys do, you know my email and phone number.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I see Andy Young's on here for streetlights and stuff at 195th and 34. What do you play in that, or what does the county play in that, or is it state?
You would have to work with the state, for sure. Right? But you're talking, let's
Our
help
95th,
31.
34.
Yeah. The road, the blacktop comes north out of Pacific Junction.
You probably would have input on this too.
I would, I'd like to, but, I mean, since that's state highway, is that ours or is that state?
We own the
Would
stoplights, stop.
Yeah, would we have to pay for any of that infrastructure? Is that,
Probably all of it.
But we have to get.
but we just have to have permission from the state.
We would have to work with them, yeah. Approval and go off of their recommendations too.
And I have to admit, that is one dark intersection.
It is dark. We've got the one here. I mean, we don't own 34 at all with the traffic control device. I call them stoplights, but I've been corrected by my brother, so. It's a
Yeah.
traffic control.
Signals.
Yeah,
Signal.
when state just did that speed study, they're talking about the crashes. on
Yeah.
that. Did they bring us any information on day-night crashes?
I never got anything other than those
Just
emails.
that-
I saw him present, he was at that, were you at that meeting? He was at some meeting. He kind of talked about it briefly, but he didn't.
Yeah,
go
it was,
into it in too
was
much
that
detail.
Andy Wicks that brought that down?
Austin Yates.
Austin, yeah, okay, I'll reach out to Austin
Okay.
and see if we can get an update on crash information.
Mhm.
Bart, Parsley should be able to help you too.
Yeah, yeah. But, cause at that time they were asking us to raise the speed limit.
Yeah,
And they said because all the accidents that they had covered, there was only like 3 that were speed related.
mhm.
Well, that's a checkbox on the accident report. And to prove that speed was the cause of the accident,
It's hard to do.
it's very difficult to do. You can, generally, there's some other factor included in that, but to say that you can, pinpoint speed, you can't. Because 99% of the time, if somebody has a crash, they're not gonna admit the speed that they're doing anyway. But I guess we'll see if we can gather more information and maybe have a little bit more, I guess, knowledge from the subject matter experts other than me.
Cause that's what it would take is a traffic study that indicates that they're warranted. And I don't recall him mentioning that at all.
I don't either.
And in fact, he was wanting to raise the speed limit, so.
We were,
I didn't know there was a speed limit out there.
well, that'd be the issue. If you raise it 10, then they're gonna go the in excess plus 10.
Except at night when there's cops sitting there in that ditch.
Yeah. Oh, it's dark.
You're never sitting there unless I'm speeding.
I'm not sitting
Me
there.
too.
I'm afraid of the dark.
Right.
Good spot.
Yeah, I'll see what we can get as far as crash data. That might help us a little bit.
Yeah,
But I imagine it would be at the county's expense,
absolutely.
especially if the DOT's not pushing for it.
Yeah,
We
they
pay
want, they let us know.
We pay for all the rest of them on 34 and stuff, you know.
Now, cause we just updated the system for the one on, by Love's
Yep.
last year. That was about 45,000. So that was the actual infrastructure. That was just basically the hardware.
I know my dad was mayor, he was pricing them when they were looking at putting a couple in. That was 100 years ago and they were like 400 grand for an intersection.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Now, what I was in favor too of is those flashing yellow ahead when it's about to turn red.
Yep.
But that was
Yeah.
gonna double it. That was like an extra 40,000, I think. And so we didn't go for it at that time. But I'm in favor of those. I think those help a lot.
They do.
that's what
Especially across that
Andy,
hill there.
Yeah, it's just
Going west.
enough of a ridge there.
so at this point, Andy's only asking for like a lighted lamp. Or is he talking about street light?
Nice.
As far as I know, it's streetlights, but I didn't
Just
talk to him
lights.
personally.
Yeah, he just wants street lights, something
That's
to, something to designate where the intersection is. So I suppose it would take a light on the south and a light on the north.
I didn't talk to him personally, so I don't know.
We do have some streetlights in the county that we pay for. So. That's a whole different animal than what we were talking about, or signals.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, he just wants street lights. He says,
Okay.
well, he goes out playing tennis every night, you know. He says, I tried to get home and he says, I can't find my road. I didn't say anymore.
Sometimes with that, it's then where do you stop? Because there's a lot of dark intersections out
A
there.
lot of dark intersections.
But I know that's a busy one.
And noise and 250, it's another scary one. You just can't see there. And one down by you too, Hillsdale there,
Yeah.
that's a wicked intersection.
I am surprised that there isn't more accidents.
I know it,
I've had a few close calls.
it's tough there.
It's very tough.
I used to drive around behind Vens and then pull up off a Singer or whatever that is. Just gives me a little more time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't see Bill or Andy, so you wanna do Greg? Wanna do some painting?
We are.
Edie?
Was that so we're in the before the meeting, when the process of looking for our jail inspection. I called up Pot County and talked to Pot County. They obviously have a jail issues as well. They contacted us, they've done the painting, they've done a background on him, so they're confident he'll be in jail.
I'm used to it, Juvie.
Yeah, so he does right now, he's on the summer contract at Iowa Western. He wants to come down on weekends and do that, but you know, whatever. The big thing is the have this under contract so that we're working towards resolution. Generally speaking, jail inspection for the state. That's what we need to get done. Obviously, if we can have it done ahead of time, that'd be great. Like I said, he's one man short, plus he's working on Iowa Western, which is really the entire summer, just about every break that they have and all that kind of stuff. But he came down, we walked him through the afternoon jail lead, Claire and I walked him through the jail. We were at several in the interior painting. It says two holding door cells, HAB vents, there's cell F2. There's multiple spots that we have to have repaired. And basically, my understanding of what the jail construction is, we built the walls out of block, and then a lot of the cells were essentially just metal boxes that were brought in and placed. And then they tack weld them together, or however you want to do it, whatever you want to call that, and then the doors are on the front. So our cells are big iron boxes. Well, there's unfortunately because metal P and there's lots of acid and whatever, plus just over time, ventilation, moisture from showers, there's rust popping through some of the spots in the paint. His intent, his job here would be to come in, sand, prime it, and then go over it and color match everything, or make a wall one solid color so that it looks good. It would stop all that rust, those rust areas from spreading any further and hopefully mitigate any issues we have. He, like I said, if we go with this, he will come down on the weekends during the summer now. Or I told him, if there's a week that you're not going to be doing something in Iowa Western, come down and do it, because actually, so I'm pretty confident I could come down for a day here and a day there and have it done.
Good.
I did not go out and find any other proposals just because of his background, having been through all that stuff. I felt confident that, and quite frankly, I was surprised that his price was as low as it was.
The 1605 is very
Sure, yeah. So I did not go out and find any of it.
And he's providing most of the stuff then?
That's everything included. That's including him buying the paint.
wow.
Right.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve $1,605 to DeCenzo Painting for the Mills County Jail.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve DeCenzo Painting to do some touch-up work down at the jail for 1605. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
I just want to follow up too after our last meeting. John and I drove out to the address.
Yeah.
John was able to work with planning and zoning. They posted that house. John reminded me this morning because I know we went out. Josh went out with somebody from planning and zoning and posted that there was somebody else in uniform there. We got it posted. I gave them a 48-hour notice, but Richard, you drove by this morning. I drove by there Friday. Nothing had changed.
Late Friday afternoon, Phil across the road went over and told him, he says, you have a paper on your pole. That's about all I need to say.
When was it posted then?
I don't know when it was posted, but
It
he knows about it.
was Wednesday morning.
And he got 48 hours.
Yeah. So
Is it still there?
I'm gonna follow up. I've got a meeting.
I thought-
Here.
I thought he was supposed to meet, from what Phil told me when he read the deal, he was supposed to meet yesterday with the P and Z people that's down there.
So I'll follow up with that, make sure that we're working toward resolution. Because we're part of the process, even if it's just be out there to make sure that everything's going fine. Sure. I'll follow up with that and see where we're at, give you nothing, but it has been, we're working towards resolution on that.
Good.
John mentioned there's a couple other places around the county that we'll probably be doing the same thing with.
And I do have it on the agenda for next week if you still want to discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be
Placeholder for
good,
it.
that way I can.
I think the people, we told the people we would look into it and do something, so I think they have a right to know, but he has, pointed at one neighbor, not friendly, out there, so I stopped talking to the neighbor. Neighbor says, I'll call you if I need something, or I'll call the sheriff. I said, just don't get into it with him, cause he is a hot one.
And then just one more quick update. The record, the hiring process is moving forward. We've got one more round of interviews on the 12th. Hopefully bring a decision to you. It'll probably end up being on the 20th, but try to get on the agenda to try and get somebody hired. I've already had a conversation with the union. They're all good with bringing them in. So. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Come on up, Travis.
Look at that.
Answer around there.
Yeah, you know.
All right,
Whenever you.
I'm just here because of one. There's a couple photos on the awards in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well deserved for your.
Yeah,
Well deserved.
I'll give you
Yeah.
a copy of this too. It's a little light reading. That's kind of what I read, that night. I think it, kind of conveyed the importance of 911. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. That happened on Monday. It was the awards dinner up there at the Aconita conference. And I was actually, surprised. Which I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of good nominations, great nominations. If you can remember last year, there was a lot that went on in the state of Iowa, which impacted, the delivery of 911 with the floods and, the tornadoes, and it sounded like even a few PSAPs had to evacuate their location. So, out of all those, we took it home. So, that was us. That was everybody that responded that night. I wanted to ensure that they were up there and they got to see it. It's pretty rare for, us to take home, or I should say, for any PSAP to take home the telecommunicator, be like a team of the year. So we're gonna find a home for this. I may even look to maybe do something maybe just a little bit additional to it to kind of supplement that stuff, whether it's downstairs or up here somewhere. I'd want to hang it up. So
Yeah. Well deserved.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
Should be very proud. Great
Yeah.
thing you got going on.
Yeah, no, I agree. Great people.
Yes.
A lot of great people. Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
He's got one thing left here. He's left out himself,
Oh,
but he was nominated the director of the year. Across Iowa, and he came in second.
There you go.
So I mean, I think it speaks a lot for Mills County, especially this. What these ladies had to do, or the whole system had to do, when this took place. I mean, it's not more that, it's just not the people downstairs, it's the sheriff's department, everybody else that responded, but they put them together and got them out there and I think it's very honorable that, you know, to come in with 103 PSAPs.
That sounds about right. Yeah, there's a couple
Come
counts
in.
that do.
Come in second out of all of them. I think it's a great honor.
Absolutely is. Keep up the good work.
That one caught me off guard, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't expecting that. There's a video floating out there. Wasn't expecting that. But all I do is put them in position to succeed. A lot of great people in there. I just put them in position to succeed. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, good things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Hey.
District bids, we'll just table him.
Sure.
Or keep Amber.
Oh.
What do you got, buddy?
Well, I think Andrew had sent you guys,
Yeah,
our
yep.
response to the solution contract, so, yeah, looking to do basically a petition to Solutions, asking them to fix some issues that were in the contract. They get hopefully more, but it's currently in the way it's written now. So, yeah, several counties are doing the same thing. We had guidance from ISAC, from their general counsel on the best way to move forward. So some of these points come from them as well. And then the county attorney's office was nice enough to review it for us good thoroughly and have a couple of suggestions as well. So we're hoping to put this petition back to Solutions and have you guys support it as well.
You guys have to live with it, we'll support you.
You wanted a motion?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I would make a formal motion that we, respond to the Solutions annual contract renewal with, I don't know, you wanna call it problems or just some situations. When I read it, I'm going, a lot of, you know, the wording just didn't.
Yeah, some typos, some omissions, some things that aren't.
Unfinished sentences.
Okay.
Second that motion.
We've got a motion and a second to send a response to Solutions for their annual contract renewal. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Can you send me a copy of the signed one? I'll put it in my file.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, yep.
Have anyone heard from Mr.
From any.
Good or Andy Young?
They did know that we were meeting at 8:15.
I did not talk to him
Bill's
personally, but I
been
would
here
assume
several
so.
times.
I just want to make sure they didn't think we were meeting. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, they very well could have.
I didn't speak with either one of the persons.
Typically, he wants to shut the street down and we've had no problem with it as long as he works with Jacob and Mr. Schultz now.
Yeah, we were brought in on the conversation after he,
Yeah, I sent them an email on no, with
Yeah.
using on the agenda.
but this is I guess a great example too of that, the special events permit that we
Yeah.
talked about the one day.
Yeah,
I know, just that even though it's not in place yet, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Doug, is there a Doug?
yeah,
Whitworth.
He had a special event a couple weeks ago. They had a rodeo out there on the racetrack grounds. He had that contractor fill out one of the special event permits and sent it to us. Even though everything was on their grounds, there was no issues whatsoever. They did hire a couple of deputies off duty. He's got another one coming up, the 31st of May. Same day as the K-9 golf tournament. But he said be a different outfit that they're coming in. So he'll have a permit set up for us and he's gonna get it to us. That way we know who to contact if something happens, but there were no issues whatsoever during the last event. So it's something we should probably reach back out to P&Z to see if because the initial conversation we had was the routing would go through them. They would distribute it out. It would go to everybody, but however we want to do that. I think that was part of Matt's ordinance was to
Ever had any more I know he's gonna review it and have any input. or
I
suggestions.
have not had any other conversations.
I didn't know if he had any additionals. So.
No, I think there was some consideration for fees. And then that routing process was something that we're gonna talk about.
We still have time. So-
Yeah, this is not an urgent thing, it's just a matter of convenience.
Yeah, it'll be good once we have it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That I don't have anything, Dan.
No,
Nor
I'm
do I.
fine with it. He's always he does a great job up there with that community. You know, the park they have now and things for the cyclists, you know. And he's one of the leaders in the community, so he does a lot of free gratis in that community.
And he does for the fire department. Yeah. Want to, do we know when?
No, if we're gonna act on it, I would like to see us approve it, working with Jacob and Sheriff.
I'll make a motion for Bill Good to close some streets in Mineola for an event pending his cooperation with the sheriff's office and the county engineer's office.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to approve the closing of streets for the event for Toby Jacks. Pending, communicates with the sheriff and the county engineer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We can let Andy bug us on the street light later on.
I don't have anything new. Does anybody else?
I do not.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:57.
second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 8:57. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.